But I mean, Jesus does conclude to his listeners, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.
That keeps coming up.
Right? So that's, you know, if this is the tribulation manual for those that are going through and are turning to Christ, and they're like, okay, this is what's coming. And I mean, application-wise, you know, we can take some of that imminent return and definitely take some principles from this for ourselves. But I think the one thing application-wise that comes to mind is do our lives look differently when we're thinking about what is coming, right? Like any moment when we're living, like any second, I could be caught up, right? Do our lives look differently? And the answer should be yes, of course they do. Different? I think differently. Anyhow, like I mean, that's supposed to be one of our accountability. Like that's been coming up Sunday mornings, accountability, right? So our lives should reflect that. You guys still trying to correct my English?
No.
No?
I was just trying to understand the grammatical reason for it, because grammar's never been my fun either, so, yeah, anyway.
I wish I could remember it.
Well, it's, the ly is
Oh, we
usually-
don't need to get into
yeah.
grammar. That's, we'll draw the
Adverb,
line there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so does that make sense? Yeah, as we looked at it now, next week we can step in to the parable of the talents and just take those questions, like on that page, and just this week, just be reading through it, and don't be afraid of doing your own timeline, right? And we can just very quickly move things around that way. So I mean, anticipating is coming, there's a seriousness to it. You know, do we have to say yes to every foolish person that desires of us and asks of us?
No?
I'm going to say, if the Spirit's leading, yes, but our answer doesn't always have to be yes, right? And that's an important, especially the direction of the world and what Satan does. Anyway, there's a lot more points in there.
The other one that struck me is this whole thing of all of the virgins trimmed their lamps. They did the works. But the thing that was the most important wasn't whether or not they were doing the works. It was whether or not they had the oil.
Okay.
Because everybody can all look good and do the stuff.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the right essential element, you're up the creek.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we'll recognize as you read through it, again, this is a surface scratch, but then we can get into some of the illustrations and representations and typology after that, right? But I think really the big drive of this, Jesus is just saying, you know, especially they're after such a hard time through the great tribulation and all the persecutions and whatnot, it's just be ready, be obedient. Right? Make sure you got oil in your lamp. Go buy some extra if you need to. You know, and if you don't,
I think what it is too is Jesus wants us to know everything about it, at least have the availability that His Word is out there, so that people will, if they're willing to look and just hear what God's got to say, is there. So when we're gone, we can't direct them. We can't, personally, I'm saying,
yeah,
we're done. So then His Word is there to show the people, you know, how this is going to be. And it's very black and white, too. Like you either got it.
yeah,
or you
sure,
don't.
believe it or yeah.
And the door's locked.
You think?
It's not as if you can plead yet at that point.
Well, and they're vessels preparing themselves for destruction. Right? I just think of, you know, you've got some of the 144,000 Jewish evangelists at that time, and if they're preaching Zephaniah, you know, it's here. You know, like get ready.
Yeah, that's true. Right? I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, they would be witnessing.
Oh yeah,
So.
but if we don't chew on these things, Ralph, we just read over them, right? And that's why I love this study group style and whatnot. We better move to prayer.
Dr. Doherty, when you were talking about the tarrying, you said Leviticus 23, what verse was that?
Okay, it's the whole chapter.
Oh, the whole chapter?
It outlines the 7 feasts of Jehovah, which gives us a prophetic outline from the cross to the millennium kingdom in the 7 feasts.
Remember when Aerial Ministries came?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a reason why David Jeremiah takes 50, 60, 70 years to teach it in a couple cycles to his churches. But timeline, that'll be our tool. Okay? Joanne's mother